Hello, everybody, and welcome to Faces of NextGen Live. My name is Eric Wells, and I am the Education Director for the NextGen Genealogy Network. I also have Legacy Left Right as my genealogy company. Here at Faces of NextGen Live, every so often we have an interview where we get to talk to a genealogist and find out what makes them tick and how they got interested. I got a whole list of questions I get to ask them. So today, without any further ado, I am so excited that I get to sit down and talk with True Lewis. True, how are you doing today? Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm doing fine. It's so good to meet you.
Yes, you and I, we've talked a little bit over social media, but this is the first time that we've actually gotten to meet.
Yes, we run in the same circles.
Yeah, we have some mutual friends, and they connected us, and they're like, Eric, you got to talk to True. You got to talk to True. Like, all right, let's do this.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Now you're just running through and through with genealogy. You've got several blogs, and every week you host a genealogy chat. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I co-host and keep up with Who is Nika Smith. You all know Nika Smith from her blog, Who is Nika Smith, and she is the one that started BlackProGen Live. And she has a group of professional genealogists who research and document their families, and we share strategies, thoughts, ideas, current events, all our experiences, and just whatever comes into mind for, research. And we do these through our conferences, our webinars, presentations, blogs, podcasts, videos. We just do it all over there. And I'm just so glad that Nika came up with this. This was something that she had always wanted to do. And she put us all together in one spot because we're usually off and running, doing different things. I'm just glad to be around all these women, and we have a lot of young people. It's multi-generational, and we come together and talk about all this once a week. We do recaps of finding your roots, and
yeah, that's something you're kind of doing now while the season is on. It's much better than, say, Game of Thrones recap or something. This is a Finding Your Roots recap.
Yes. So we're enjoying that and analyzing what's going on with each celebrity. And then, we're also seeing how we're taking it from our own research experience and what else can we get out of that, how we can apply it to what we're doing in our own work, to our viewers and everything. And we bring them in with our live chat, and it's very interactive if you've ever seen an episode. So I just really enjoy that. I think that's like the highlight of my career right now, is just being with these other panelists in the genealogy community, where we can all come together and just do our thing. So.
Yeah, I have a link in all of our descriptions, in the description of this video too, that'll take you to the BlackProGen Live, and it's every Tuesday or Thursday. Is that
we have them right now every Wednesday. On Wednesday we have a show at 9 p.m. at Eastern. We're going to be talking about people of color in the Northeast, which is Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. So tune in for that. That's going to be exciting.
Now, we were talking a little bit before going live here, and you have a fantastic way and story that you got interested and brought into genealogy. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you become interested in genealogy? Like, I feel like I came through the back door, and you kind of feel like you came in through the back door a little bit too.
I did. I haven't done this the right way. It's like when they say don't do that, that's what I did. And I think I'm still running that way too. I have just not have done it in the traditional way. I've done things backwards. So how I got interested is you'll have to remember that I've been living a double life. I'm I've been adopted by my grandparents, my biological paternal grandparents. So in 1977, you know, of course, Roots came on. So I'm in the house watching this with them. They are born in 1918 and 1923. So I'm their grandchild, but I'm their daughter at the same time. So, you know, all that stuck in my mind. You know, you're at that age of 9 and you're not really understanding what your history really means, but it just touched me in a certain way. But I've always been around all these elders, you know, listening to their stories and just standing in the background, just paying attention. And then fast forward to 1998, I had to retire early from the military. So I have this time on my hands and I'm starting to think about my parents. They're, you know, getting older now. And I just really want to sit down and focus on what's going on with them. What happened? What is really our story? So I'm asking my parents. So that's how I got interested in genealogy, is that I'm around all these older people all my life. You know, my birth parents are in my life as well. And my mother is German. So I have this, you know, history where I'm African American, I'm German, I'm Welsh. I have, you know, grandparents that came here from, you know, that are Norwegian. And I'm just, you know, you hear all these stories, but you really just don't know who you are. And it just always, I just always wanted to answer that question, because normally you hear people say, well, I'm this, I'm that, but I didn't have that. I had to wait till I was an adult to get all of that. So.
And did you have this sense that all these older people you were around, like they were a precious resource, like something that they could easily be gone and take all those stories and that information with them? Did you have that sense back then?
I did, especially when I was little. It was just something that was intuitive in me. I just could just feel it. It was like when I heard a grown-up say something, I just tried to remember it. I didn't know, you know, you're not thinking about writing all this down. But like I said again, I'm in my 30s now, and I'm focusing on the elders in my family. I'm asking my dad, I'm writing all these questions down and getting them answered, and talking to my parents, talking to their siblings that are in their 80s and 90s that were still living at the time. We only have one left out of 22 aunts and uncles now. But back when I started in 98, I had this wealth of information. I had a sense that I needed to talk to them.
And I kind of had a similar thing, and I felt sort of like a hero, almost like putting this stuff down in writing, something that other family members haven't done yet. Did you kind of feel the same way? It's like,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, I did, because, like, you know, my mom, it was only her. Both her parents, my grandparents, died when I was like under 3. So she's a young woman, and her parents are gone. So she doesn't really have anybody. She never knew her history until I started doing it. And then with
wow.
yeah. So I'm the first on my Swagert line to even just really sit down and focus and get this squared away and written down. With my father's side, my paternal side, both his parents, I just knew I had to get their stories. I had to document all that. It was just with this urgency. And I was just always panicking and in a hurry to get all this, to get this written down. And I did start off with oral history. It was, you know, my parents were open to all of it. My grandparents and my mom, they just wanted their story to be told. You'd be surprised how much they want to tell, because no one never really asked them before.
Yeah, nobody had it sounds like no one really was interested or had the drive like you did to even listen to them, because I know kind of when I was growing up, the world sort of revolved around me a little bit, and I had a whole bunch of other interests, but sounds like you had a pretty good head on your shoulders and were pretty wise enough to sit down and collect their stories.
Thank you. Yes, I had to. It was just something in my heart, and I just wanted to know about myself. I wanted to be able to recite my story just like my friends were doing, you know.
I love that. That's awesome. And so, what ancestor of all the people that you learned about and they told you about, what ancestor would you really like to go back and meet?
Well, I think back then when I was, you know, talking to mommy and daddy, it was always I wanted to know about my grandma Eddie. Because like I said, they were, you know, these were people that lived through World War II, the Depression. They're from you know, a small southern town. So, you know, I had been there all my life, but we didn't get to meet her because she died before we were all born. She died in 1946. So fast forward again a little bit. As I'm asking my dad about his mother and, you know, her name, and, you know, he's teaching me all this stuff and when her birthday was. So then he goes, "Oh, I didn't tell you about my granddaddy Ike." I was like, "Oh, okay. So who was he, you know?" And then he told me, "Well, that's my grandpa, and I knew him, and he has 23 kids." And that's when I just lost it. I said, "Are you kidding me?" Like, it just, my head just, and my heart just dropped, but I was like so full of excitement after that. I
can't imagine having like one kid, let alone 23 kids.
Yes, he was widowed twice, and he was the third wife, my grandma Berta. He was with her for 40 years, and he had 23 children altogether, and he managed to, you know, make all these sacrifices. You know, he was in slavery, and he saw freedom come. And then as he came of age, he got married to his first wife, which is the one I come from, Mary Haynes. And he had 6 children. That's where my grandmother, my great-grandmother comes in. Her name is Eddie Lee Rosanna, Louisiana, Savannah, Ivory, and then Lewis. So. But I wanted to go, if I had to go back, I would want to go and talk to Granddaddy Ike and just ask him about, you know, I know it'd be heartbreaking at the same time, but I would just really want to ask him about what did he see when freedom came? How did he manage to just stay in Alabama and keep his family together? And, you know, he was in these organizations with the Masons. He just lived a full life through all of that. And then I get on the Genealogy Roadshow, and they find his parents' marriage license from 1865.
What?
Yeah, so he's like about 10 or 11 when he's seeing his parents, you know, go up there that November on a Sunday now and go to the courthouse and actually get married. And when I saw that marriage license, that was like, that blew me away too. I couldn't even control myself. They had to stop the camera because I was just done. Like, I don't know what I thought they were going to find, but when they found that, it just confirmed so much of my research as well, because we knew there was a good reason, you know, just out of him just being a good man, but he kept his family together. And I think he learned that lesson because he saw his mother and father get married. Even though they were enslaved, their family was intact.
Yeah, and that's an amazing story, because that didn't happen very often back in the 1860s, did it? Or maybe it did after the Civil War. Families.
A lot of families were broken up, and people were looking for people afterwards. But for some reason, they were intact, and I was blessed to have that happen for me personally. It just spoke so much of my family and how I was raised and how I seen things, how I felt. You know, it was all because of that 1865 marriage license. And I'm sure there is more information beyond that, but that is what is keeping me going, is that marriage license up there. It's in that folder. And then with, you know, you seeing their children flourishing and Granddaddy Ike, and he's keeping his kids together. And right now there's over 400 of us that meet every 2 years in his honor.
Oh.
all his descendants from all three of his wives. I think the last one passed away in 2004. My Aunt Osie was his last child that passed away.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'd have to talk to Granddaddy Ike. I got a lot of stuff.
You know, that's something that I, when I started researching my own family and like really like getting into it and putting the timelines together and the geography together, and even pulling up the newspapers, the sacrifices that my own ancestors and the changes that forced them to make specific decisions. I got a real good appreciation of that and a whole new level of I just connected deeper to genealogy when that happened. So I think that's something that keeps pulling me forward into doing my own research, and then also sharing that feeling with some with clients and things like that.
Very gratifying. We all have a story to tell, and you just, it can just start with one document, one question asked from an elder, and you just run with it. And that's what I've been doing. If I call my 89-year-old aunt, that's the only one living right now, and she's still able to talk to me because I have a whole book over here full of oral history interviews, but she's my go-to person. My cousin B, I'm really involved with my elders. I call them at least once a week, somebody in the family, and you don't have to just call and ask them questions, develop that relationship and that trust with them. Call them and ask them things besides genealogy, grow and nurture those relationships. Because, it's that saying, when they go, the stories go. It's like a library being burnt. And trust me, I was there trying to put the fire out. I was trying to call everybody and go visit them as much as I was allowed to. I've been blessed to be able to enjoy this field in many different ways, that I can do this. So.
And we've got a question over here from Melanie McComb. She wants to know what season and which city you were on Genealogy Roadshow.
Oh, so I was on Genealogy Roadshow season 2, the St. Louis episode, and I was at Union Station, and I'm towards the end there. So, yeah, Kenyatta, you all probably know, and Mary Tedesco and Josh, they were all the hosts for that. Yeah. And I had some wonderful researchers in the background as well. So they did an awesome job. I always will appreciate and just adore them for that. Because if they were only at our reunion when my family saw that document and how they felt, they just gave us a gift, and it just keeps on giving. So
that's a really cool story. I love that. What in your research, what was one of the most interesting or surprising discoveries? Was it that marriage certificate?
That was one of them, and then I'll have to say my Patriot. I'm also a daughter of the American Revolution. So,
really?
Yes, I've been in for a year now, and I just happened to just stumble upon him by accident, like years ago, because I was just trying to get all my DNA lined up, trying to find my mother, and then all of a sudden, Johann Nicholas Barrick popped up in my paper trail. So I was like, you got to be, I'm just always amazed, like, okay, I have this rich history over here, and now I'm starting to learn about my mom's European heritage, and I see this soldier here, and yeah, that fascinated me quite a bit.
Jeez, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I it took me years to do, but I finally got it together.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got a question here from James Morgan, and he's asking what makes Alabama genealogy unique?
Oh, James, that is a good question. And he's going to be traveling to Africa. He's also a panelist on BlackProGen. So I love you, James. What makes it unique? I just love all those over 60 counties of Alabama. It just seems like it's just the center of the world to me. Like it seems like everything, Alabama's right here, and then everything else is coming
kind of
up.
radiates out.
Yeah. So, and I just love it because my roots are there. That's my area of research. And I just have fond memories. I've been going there ever since I was a baby, but there's just so much rich history there from, before, it was a territory, and just all the way up until 1822, up until now. I still go there. They just have a lot. They have a lot of research. I go to the archives a lot, like twice a year at least. And then I'm still ordering through ADA, the Alabama Department of Archives and History, at least once a month from them. I'm ordering something. The maps, it's just the history. Oh, I love Alabama.
I'm researching my family's or my wife's family, and they go in and disappear into Alabama too, or Alabama, and so it's good to hear this because I've been banging my head against some brick walls, and kind of it reinvigorates me to just give it another chance.
Don't be scared. Just do it. Just go for it. They're waiting on you. Sweet Alabama.
We have Shelly Murphy here, and she's asking, what counties are you researching in Alabama?
Shelly, Dr. Shelly Murphy. You all know her as Family Tree Girl. Oh my goodness, Shelly. I do the southeast corner of Alabama, which is Bullock, Barber, Macon, Bibb, all the Birmingham, Montgomery, all those little areas around there, Troy. I know all the counties up above and over here to the west, but my researched area is the southeast corner. That is mainly where I'm focused on, where everything started for me at. But I can go into those archives and I can get something up there from Tuscaloosa on down. But yeah, the southeast corner, that's my niche there.
I got actually another question. Deb Ruth is asking, has your blogger helped forward your research at all?
It has. I've broken a couple of walls down with my Patriot. And then, oh my goodness, there's so many things that happened since I've been blogging. Actually, my anniversary is tomorrow. It'll be 4 years for me.
Well, congratulations on your 4-year blog anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. So, Deb, how are you? Yeah, I've met a lot of cousins. My mom didn't really know her family too well, so we ended up, I was writing stories about her ancestors, the Swaggers. I'll just give that as an example. My great-grandfather, David Swaggart. And I put up, just did a timeline like Shelly Murphy teaches us. I had a timeline of him. If I don't know anything, I'll at least make a timeline and put that up, even if it's just one document, a picture, just something to get him timestamped, to get him on my blog. So people were writing me. They were like, well, were your cousins over here? And then we'd go in the DNA and we'd figure out, oh, so you were over here. That's why I didn't know who you were. One of my branches from my Patriot, his brother, there was a young lady that wrote me on my blog and said, we have barracks that were from Maryland. And I was like, I know those barracks, but let me see what else she knows. So it is Cousin Babe. Yeah, and it comes to find out her grandfather was the barrack that ended up going to Canada. That was his brother, but that's how we were kin. And it was because I had wrote about my Patriot that she just, I guess she had just typed in barrack. So we've been keeping in touch on Facebook. My mom met a lot of her first cousins. and second cousins through some blog pieces that I've done. And we've been behind the scenes communicating. And my mom actually met some of them earlier in the year. Well, you know, it took us a year to meet them, but my mom actually went and met. So, yeah, a lot of things come out of my blog. It's cousin bait. When you just don't think they're serving its purpose, but it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelly is actually asking another pretty good question regarding BlackProGen and other hangouts. What do you feel is the best experience of being involved that you can share with others?
Being involved with BlackProGen with others?
Yeah, like what's been one of your best experiences that has come out of any of these hangouts that you've been a part of, like BlackProGen?
Well, you know, I think mainly it is that I'm around my colleagues. I'm around my other friends in this community, and I'm getting support is the main thing. But then second of all, I'm learning. I'm not, like I said, I'm not your traditional genealogist or family historian. I've been doing things my way, learning the hard way. But I think it's because I'm learning, and then we're teaching. You know, you have Angela, Bernice, Nika, Alex. There's so many of us that come on that panel, Yvette, Ellen. I don't even want to leave anybody out. Just charge it to my mind and not my heart right now. But we are teaching people. We're showing you how this is done, and how you can find those these, you know, your African American, the slavery, because I think that while people are telling their stories, they can't tell their stories without ours. You can't tell your story without my story. We have to know how to collaborate. This is collaboration at its finest.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether you're, like I said, we have a multi-general panel. We have young people up to James. We have our elders, and then you have me in the middle there, the Gen X generation. So, you know, all the teaching that goes on and people's experience and how you can just get hands-on training right then and there on the spot. Those panelists on BlackProGen, they can solve a brick wall right on the air before we're done. So even while I'm learning, I'm teaching at the same time, and then it's the collaboration, Shelly. And I think too, it's just showing you know, the audience how, you know, the viewers, how you can do this and how you need to tell your story and our story at the same time, because one doesn't go without the other. I'm a true believer in that you can't tell your story without mine. So when you find those enslaved, or you find that Patriot, you get it all out there, because we're all in this together. There's a bigger community, you know, besides your circle. Step out your comfort zone.
I love it. I never thought of it that way. Like your, my story is intertwined with your story type of thing, and that would really bring about a feeling of, or an effort of collaboration.
Yes.
I like that.
I think we're doing it more now, and we need to keep it going.
Yeah.
Reach out to everyone. I reach out to everyone, and I implore everybody to come and ask us and talk to us. You can find us all over the place. Just stop on in on our episodes, you know.
Awesome. What is some of your favorite books, genealogy related or otherwise?
I have a lot of books back there. I do have a lot of genealogy books, and right now I do have my courthouse research that I won from Dear Myrtle on Wacky Wednesdays. A couple.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and you know, of course, Blaine and his DNA book. I just
wait. You were on Genealogy Roadshow and you won a Wacky Wednesday?
Yes, I did.
you're like so lucky.
I don't know what's going on. I told you, I'm not following the traditional path, but somehow or another, these blessings are just falling to me. I just happened to pop in that night, and there was a giveaway. So
you're truly charmed. I tell you what.
In Pennsylvania, come Wednesday. Yeah. So I do have a lot of genealogical treasures. I'm also reading Michael Twitty's book called The Cooking Gene, where he's talking about family history, DNA, and food all at the same time, and how that is important, and how all that is intertwined with our lives. And that resonated with me because food and DNA and genealogy is, all three of those things are how you tell your story. Yeah. So, and mainly I read for relaxation. It takes me away from genealogy. So
you need to sit down and read in order to like pull yourself out of genealogy. I love it.
I have to, and I'm a period movie girl. I'm a historical fiction, and I could just read about anything, but I got books over here that I'm still trying to catch up on, and I keep on ordering, but I have to do that to escape, and that's my my private time.
Do you read a lot of books about history?
I do. Like a lot of the civil rights things. I have April 4th, 1968 by Michael Eric Dyson. But there's so many new books out now. I know on BlackProGen, Nika had us one day take a photo of what we're reading now. And I found some of the books that Shelley and her and some of my other friends were reading. I was like, oh, I need to get that.
Shelley's saying that she got you hooked on Beverly Jenkins.
She did, and it's like it just takes you away. But then you just need that, because I need it. I've always used reading as, that was just a thing with me. If it was just a newspaper, my mom sending me stuff, today from the Patriot news that I would probably be interested in. She'll send me the mini page. I have that here, and I'm getting old, and my mom is still sending me these. So reading has always been relaxing for me, and learning. I do read things that are I can take with me to learn about certain subjects. But
now, do you take on genealogy clients then? This is what you do for a living, right?
I don't. I am not taking any clients on, because as you can see back here, I'm in charge of my mom's history on all four of her lines, and then I'm responsible for my father's lines, his maternal and his paternal. So I have my hands full. I got so much done, but I probably haven't even touched the top of the iceberg yet, as they say. I'm just chipping away at it. So these people right here, those are my priorities right now. But in the future, I'm not going to take that off the table. But and I do, do my random acts of kindness as much as I can. When someone needs something, or they need a question asked, or a document, or a marriage license, and if I can get it, I'm just going to go ahead and get it. If I keep hearing you say the same thing over again, I'm just going to go ahead and get that for you. So we do a lot of that here in my houses, and DNA kits, whatever someone needs from me that can help them get a little bit further, I'm there for you.
Awesome. Charlotte Chatfield is asking a question. It's a pretty good one. How long did it take you to find your Patriot, and what side of the family did it come from?
So yes, my Patriot is on my mother's side. It is her mother's line. It took me about 4 years. I took like a 6 month to a year break because I had got so frustrated. And then Dear Myrtle pulled a panel together for me one night on Wacky Wednesday, and we got my application. Yeah, I yelled out in the chat room one day. She was asking us something. I was like, oh, I think I need help on my Patriot because I can't find a certain thing. She goes, who said that? And cousin Russ goes, it was true out there. So she goes, you know what? We're going to put a program together for you. So that's what ended up happening is she put a panel together and we put my application up there. I had 3 holes in it. By the time they got done, examining and, seeing what was going on, because she got some people that were already in the DAR and they took a look at where my holes were. So once I turned that in and they were correct, I did have 3 holes. So then I had to end up going back and just trying to, keep on with my paper trail and getting all that done. All of it was focused in Pennsylvania. And it was all women up until my Patriot. So that kind of like really frustrated me because they do not treat women as equals. But thank God for the women on my mother's line because those were some strong-willed women. They had my one grandmother, she had a will from 1836.
What?
Yes, they was getting it on. They were standing up for themselves. Yes. So now I see where my mom gets her grit and her spark from and how I will, So, because we have Rosanna and Rebecca and Susanna and all the way to their Patriot daddy, my Patriot Nicholas. And so it was pretty hard and frustrating, but we got through it. But I'm so proud of them that they left that, they left their mark. They left their footsteps here. And I was able to get all that recorded in one thing and claim my birthright and claim my heritage because, a lot of times in life you were told, oh, you don't come from nobody or nothing. But yeah. Nicholas. It took till his great grandbaby to put it on paper.
That is such a cool story. That's a really, really cool story. Yeah. You're just a charmed woman. I really enjoy talking to you.
Thanks so much, Eric.
So you did come into
that question.
So you came into genealogy sort of through the back door, and if you could go back to your younger self and kind of impress upon her that she should change something or she needs to focus on something, what would that be?
Oh, goodness. Oh, you are so naughty. Why didn't you write your stuff down, like your sources? I don't know. I'm here trying to fix stuff from 1998, but I would think I would go back and tell True that, you know what, you should have wrote some of that down and got a little bit more organized. But you know what, you did a good job because you started those oral histories. You went and you talked and to your elders, and you can still do that today and rely on them because you just went out there and just went for it and made sure that their stories were told. So I wouldn't scold her too bad, but I'd make sure I'd let her know that, you did all right.
Just to keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah, just keep it up and keep going, I
think that's a great thing to tell a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, you did good.
So you attend conventions? I
do. I am a member of the Bullitt County Historical Society, and then I have my AGS, which is I'm also a member of Alabama Genealogical Society. So I attend Maggie. I have to do that every other year because of the Ivory Granddaddy Ike's reunions require me. They run the same week that the Ivories do, so I have to go every other year. So that's the Midwest African American Genealogical Institute.
Maggie. Oh, that's great.
Someone can type that in that chat room. That's where you're going to see me next in July. From July, I think it's from 10th through the 12th, Shelley, if you're out there still listening. and they have 4 tracks, and I'm a proud graduate of Maggie. You can see my participant right there. But I also have my certificate. But I'm going to be taking the DNA track this year and Roots Tech. And anything that's going on that I can get to, I'm going to go. I know I miss Cindy here in Kentucky. I was kind of upset about that. But I do go to conferences, and like I said, I'm a big proponent of the Institute because it's so focused. And I had Judy Russell, Angela, Raji Walton as my instructor. Shelly Murphy I had like all these instructors, and my classroom was small. So you're getting this one-on-one knowledge to take your research even further. Because I got home and I was able to get all this situated. This was a mess right here. I had some good stuff, but it just wasn't organized, and it was kind of being a little bit of a hindrance. But I got through it, and I'm just doing good now. I'm doing good since I've been there. And then all the collaboration and you're there with your other classmates, and you're right at the Allen County Public Library. Oh my goodness. I found some stuff from my DAR application in there.
You're drooling over the Allen County Public Library.
Yes, that was my first time there because of me going to the Institute. I thought Salt Lake City was the bomb, but Allen, yeah. Learn these things.
So let's talk about where people can find you out on the internet, over on the web.
So you can find me on Blogger, on Google. I am at mytrueroots.com. You can type in the www. You can just type in My True Roots or True Lewis, and I'm sure something will pop up somewhere. Because I've been blogging for 4 years, and I kind of like have all my people out there. They're out there on the internet. Yeah. And I'm on Twitter, that girl at My True Roots. And you'll see me there on BlackProGen Live on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. We have a schedule there on whoisnikasmith.com. If you go to her website, we have the schedule up on there, or you can find us on YouTube. I don't know if I gave you a link to where they can find us at on that. And I
think I've got it in the YouTube description.
Yeah, and then I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, so I'm sure, hopefully with your viewers, I've run into them, or they've ran into me somewhere over Facebook and some of the genealogy groups. I am in a lot of those.
And you also have a documentary.
I do. I did that 4 years ago with my girlfriend, Family Line. She's at FamilyLineVideo.com. Like I said, I was in such a panic, and I was just always in a hurry and worrying about, I got to get this done. So 4 years ago, I put a documentary together for my granddaddy Ike, his 23 kids, all the way down to my story. So you'll have a timeline of what happened from his parents all the way down. That's about 9 generations now. So
wow.
It's a start. Somebody had to do it, and I wanted it to be done because I had all this work and I didn't know where to put it because I didn't really know about blogging too much. I was still trying to send out my family history through notes on Facebook. Remember when Facebook had notes?
Yeah.
That's how I was sending out my stories before I started my blog. Yeah, so then I finally got the courage. I kept asking, people that I knew that already had blogs, like Angela and Bernice, and I was like, what do you think? You think I can do this? And they was like, girl, yeah, come on. So I started up. I said, let me go ahead, and that's how I started mytrueroots.com. I started it on the day that my father passed and the time. So my first blog piece is November the 7th at 2:30. So back in 4 years ago. So yeah, but with the documentary, you can find that on my blog as well, up top. I have my Genia Bloggers interview, then my documentary, and then I have a title for just all the surnames that are in my family. So that second block will take you over to Vimeo, where if you have time, just come on by there. It's about 45 minutes long. And
yeah, I also dropped the link in the chat room too.
thanks.
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah. Well, True, this has just been a really great interview. I really appreciate your time. And one of the biggest things that I got out of this is like, if you put your mind to something, you're going to make it happen one way or another, come hell or high water.
Yes.
That's
out of fear. This is what happens out of fear. But I'm smooth sailing. I found my groove, and I'm enjoying where I'm at. You know, and I just want to tell your viewers, just go ahead and just, you know, go out there and reach out. If you don't know something, there's somebody out there that will know. Because I don't know everything. I'm still asking questions, but you know, our stories need to be told, and that's what I'm here to do for my family.
well, and thanks for that, because well, the other thing I learned is that your story will somehow connect to mine as well. So because of that, I want to thank you for the work you've put into this and the effort you put into it.
Thank you, Eric. I'm glad I did this. And you guys keep doing what you're doing. I enjoy the next gen folks out there. They're so young, and they're just so vibrant and keeping it going. And just because I'm older, I've been learning things, and I can learn things from your crew there, just like they can take something away, probably, hopefully, from what I'm doing as well. So
yeah, I think that we each have things to offer. You know, we have things to offer each other, definitely.
Yes, I love it. I love seeing what they're out there doing, because then it makes me want to go and say, oh, you know, I can maybe do that on Instagram, or you know, whatever it is they're doing, their little meetups. I just, you know, stay encouraged and just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, True. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Before we go, is there anything else you wanna say? You can have last word. Well, not really. I'm gonna have last word.
Yeah. I just want to thank you, and thanks to Beth and Melanie. I just, you know, I see all your viewers out there and your crew, and you know, and like I said, just encourage them to just keep doing what they're doing, because I'm learning from them, and hopefully they're taking some tips and some takeaways from us as well. So I just hope to meet you in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it out to Roots Tech. And then I come up and we can actually shake each other's hands.
Yeah.
Maybe even give each other a hug.
Yes, I'm always down for that.
All right. Well, viewers, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And we're going to be doing this again. I seem to be getting on a schedule of twice a month on a Monday evenings. The next one I've got scheduled is for just a few days before Thanksgiving on November 20th. And let me tell you who we've got coming up. Paul Woodbury. I am super excited to talk to him. And there's some neat things that you'll get to learn about Paul and where he works, actually. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Again, thank you, True, for being in the interview seat. And I am Eric Wells, the Education Coordinator for NextGen Genealogy Network. And I will see you in 2 weeks. See you later, everybody.